Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see everyone. Appreciate you guys taking the time. As I know you guys were all probably playing golf or doing something today, so appreciate you finding some time. And Ron, looks like you might be driving there right now. So no, honestly, guys, ladies and gents, thank you so much for being a part of this. Um, as I said from the beginning, this was another opportunity for us to continue to add some to a great, not just athletic department year and everything we've done, but to continue to add to our family here and continue to build our programs to achieve excellence across the board in all sports. And, when Ray asked that he was going to retire, one of the tough ones for me was, again, he had done so much for this program. We're so grateful for everything he did. And so, before I go any further, I do want to say thank you to Ray. He was instrumental, not just since the day I got here, but also through this process. I had an opportunity to sit down with him, really ask him questions, talk about some individuals, find out more about baseball than probably I wanted to know. But he was great. And I just want to say thank you to him. And I'm excited that we're going to continue to be able to fundraise and help the baseball program move forward as well as all athletics. So thank you, Ray. And then I also wanted to kind of just hit on the opportunity to say thank you to Dave and everyone else who were a part of this through this process. This was again, a little longer than I wanted it to, but because of the announcement from Ray and everything else, I wanted to give all respect to all the candidates during their season. And then Todd decided he wanted to go and play in the regionals. So we had to wait a little longer to kind of go through that process with him, but it's been great. The vision from the beginning, as I said, guys, ladies, it's to build excellence in everything we do and to find a coach that had the character, that had the integrity, also had the ability to build programs, continue to have success, and everything that we looked, all the boxes that we laid out, Todd continued to check them off. The last piece of that puzzle for me was giving him an opportunity to come here on campus, he and his wife, and have an opportunity to meet with some of our staff members, some people that are influential to our baseball community. And when he did so, and the responses that I received was a no-brainer. So you guys, I've said this before in other searches, I go with my gut, and it is something that's important for me to do. And from the beginning, it was something that I felt comfortable with. And so I'm excited to officially welcome Todd Brown as our new baseball coach. And at this point, I will pass it along to him so he can say some things, and then we'll get into some questions.
Yeah, great. Thank you. First of all, thank you to President Stokes for meeting with me and giving me this opportunity. And Eddie Nunez and Dave Williams, I tell you, your search was very professional. One thing that I respected the most is how you guys went about it and let me coach my team. My team was on a good run. You knew I was interested, but you gave me my space to coach my team. And I certainly appreciate that. And thankful for the opportunity. Coach Birmingham, it's been a long time since I've been in Albuquerque, and to see what you have built there and the program that you run is truly amazing. And congrats on your retirement and a fantastic career, legendary Hall of Fame type career. And I'm looking forward to working with you and being with you and getting to know you better. To be honest, guys, if you asked me 3 months ago, there was only 3 things that I thought it would take to take me away from North Dakota State. And that was retire, fired, or expire. And as you can tell, 2 of those 3 are really bad, and 1 is really, really bad. And then a 4th one came along, and that was hired. The right school came in and offered me a position, and that's a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer for me. But I had to check some people off, and there was 5 people that really made this happen. My wife and Janet, and my son Brooks, and my daughter Blake, and then former athletic director Gene Taylor, and current athletic director Matt Larson. All 5 said yes. In fact, my son said hell yes. And so when all 5 of those guys were on board, if one of those persons said, no, this is not right, don't do it, whether it was my kids or my current boss, I was out. And all 5 highly encouraged me to go for it. And that meant a lot, because of the people there, the program, what we can do, this was the right fit. And I'm so thankful for them giving me that opportunity to pursue this, and it worked out. And I'm certainly thankful for those 5, because you talk about, my current boss, Matt Larson. Gosh, he really just encouraged me to go for it, because he knew how special of a job this was, and getting back to the Southwest was always a dream of ours. 22 years ago, 22 baseball seasons ago, I should say, my wife and I packed up for the Midwest to learn how to coach and learn on the job training. And 14 years at North Dakota State, we learned a lot, but it put me in position to take this job, to get this job, and to be successful at this job. And that's why I really pursued it, because that 22 years of being away from the Southwest and learning how to navigate this business gave me an opportunity to get back. And now it's time for me to get out there again, get closer to home for not only my wife, but for me as well. All of our family's still there, and we're really excited to get back to where we're from and move forward. Couple of things. What would coaches say that have a lot of experience about my teams? I think they'll tell you we're tough, we're hard-nosed, we're physically and mentally tough, we're dirtbags, we're fundamentally sound, we're team first guys. That's really critical. That's how we were able to be successful in all the stops that I've been, is we had great makeup of players. I told the team today, I'm looking for 35 guys that want to get a quality education and play in the major leagues. Those 2 things, I think, can really set you up for building a great team. Once baseball comes to an end, whether it's your senior year, you never get an opportunity to play again, you have that education in your back pocket to move on to phase 2. And then there's going to be guys that are going to be good enough to get into the professional ranks and move up and play professional baseball and even into the major leagues. We're looking for all of those guys that want to play at the highest level and will come in and work to do that, but go to school at the same time. Because there's a lot of life lessons that are going to be learned, some good, some bad, but they're going to be better people for coming and playing for me and my assistants in this program and going to this university. So that's what I'm looking for. We call them OKGs, our kind of guy. We're looking for those guys that come in and want to grind. And one of the other things that are really, you talk about, and I've used this at other schools, but here would be Lowell pride. What does that mean? There's 3 components to it. They need to respect and honor those who wore the uniform before us. Those guys mean a lot to this program. This is their program. And I want them to know, if they're listening out there, this is your program. I just want to be a part of it. While you're here, you need to understand the standards that have been set and try to beat them. Try to improve them. Try to set new standards so when your time is gone, that the next group comes in. And the last thing is, once your time here is gone, you need to give back. How can you give back? Buy some football tickets, buy some basketball tickets, come to a softball game, come to a baseball game, come to a golf outing. This is New Mexico is your university. We want you to be back. We want you to be involved. Enjoy your time here. But once your time is gone, is to come back, give back, and be a part of this program. I'm so thankful to be a part of this program, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I guess with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, I guess the first question I have is, what do you think of how everything is set up for you to come in and get going right away? I mean, Ray did a lot of work, like you mentioned earlier, and how do you like how everything is set up to get going?
Well, I had a 10:30 Mountain Time a Zoom call for about 10-15 minutes with the team, and the response from there till just before I got on has been unbelievable. We have guys that I guess have been exploring other options, now are all in, want back. There's guys that were on the fence, they're in. There's guys that the excitement after that 15-minute Zoom call has been pretty special. I'm excited for that. And, I got on campus and everything is right there. Are we going to improve some things? Sure. But the structure is there, having field turf, being outside year round, the indoor tunnels to be able to hit year round at odd times. The brand new building, geez, you talk about a special building, a one-stop shop. And then the campus life is certainly something that I think is going to be attractive for in the recruiting process. And we're going to use that and use all the resources that are there and then try to improve on them.
And where did you come from as far as you said you were from the Southwest? What part of the Southwest did you come from to begin with?
Well, I went to junior high school in Tucson, Arizona, Sabino High School. And then I was a left-handed pitcher at the University of Arizona for Jerry Kendall. And, you know, kind of a connection there. Rich Alday was Pima Community College head baseball coach and was going through the recruiting process with him. And then he took the New Mexico job in, I believe, summer of '89. So 90 was his first season, I believe. And so I'm tied to Rich Alday. The late, great Rich Alday passed away a year and a half ago. And then I went on, I did get a cup of coffee with the Cleveland Indians in the minor league camp, and I got cut pretty quickly and decided that degree that I had in hand is going to come into good use. It was a goal of mine to play in the major leagues, and they told me to hit the highway. So I did that. Within a month, I started coaching. 2 years at Sabino High School. We won a state championship my first year. And then our second year, JJ Hardy was our starting shortstop. Jamie Vermillier, who went to New Mexico, became a major leaguer for you guys, or for us now, because I'm part of the family. 2 years, and I was addicted to coaching. I said, this is easy. You can win a state championship, and then you have somebody like JJ Hardy being your high school shortstop is pretty special. Became the volunteer assistant at Arizona under Jerry Stitt. And then and that's when we decided we needed to get out on the road. We needed to go take a mid-major job at Bowling Green State University as the pitching coach, recruiting coordinator. And I needed to learn how to do the job. I didn't want to stay in the volunteer role because I couldn't recruit off campus. I couldn't do the office daily work. And that's where the nuts and bolts of being successful need to be learned. I went to Bowling Green. Danny Schmitz, can't thank him enough, gave me an unbelievable opportunity to be the #1 assistant. Was there 8 years, won a championship, have a ring with them. And then I became head baseball coach at North Dakota State in summer of '07. Here 14 years, and the first couple of years were rough. They were rough. It was tough sledding, as we'd say, because there's a lot of sledding going on around here. And it was tough. And we got the right kids, and we started turning around. Our first recruiting class won 40 games, and that was a big testament to their hard work and the coaching staff's hard work and proven it could be done. And we've been pretty successful since.
Lee, you're up next. From here on out, please introduce yourself and your affiliation just so we can get everyone familiar with each other, please.
Coach, I'm Lee Faria from the NBC affiliate KOB. Before your son had said hell yes, did he have an opportunity to the family be able to see Albuquerque and get a feel for what life is like here?
No. My wife and I have been in Albuquerque for limited time, but it's been a long time. Our kids know Arizona. They know Tucson, visiting grandpa and grandma on both sides. They like obviously the weather. They like the lifestyle of being outside year round, and they like the desert. They like everything about it. And it was an opportunity for us to get back home. And they're both in college now, and their ideas right now are to stay up north with their friends and go to college and have a great college experience, but they're going to find their way down south soon enough.
And my next question is, Ray was always big on New Mexico kids, New Mexico players. Will you start with that as kind of a blueprint?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did here. Coming to Fargo, North Dakota, we drew a circle, about a 6-8 hour car ride of Fargo, North Dakota, and said, our top priority is to get the best kids in that circle. It's the easiest to recruit. It's the easiest sell. They know what you're about. They know about up here is the challenges, down there the challenges. They can have friends and family involved. There's so many good things of having local talent play for your team. There's a lot of pride that goes involved. And, you look at our 21 team here, we had a lot of North Dakota kids on that championship team. And you talk about some special pride that they had. And we're going to do the same thing in New Mexico. We're going to get the best players we can in the state. And our priorities are the bordering states, West Texas and Arizona at the high school and junior college level. That's our number one priority. And then there's going to be opportunities to venture out of that through connections. But that's going to be our number one priority, is get the best kids that we can find that fit into what we're looking for and the positions we need as close to our campus as possible.
Coach Van Tate from the CBS affiliate here again. When you, as far as coming back in and getting yourself acclimated to this, or the climate and everything around here, have you already noticed like the altitude and different things like that? Are you familiar with all of that?
Yep, I had to pitch in it. So I pitched in it for 5 years at Arizona, and I gave up some, we called them tape measures back then. We didn't have TrackMan to exactly tell us how far they went, but everybody knew that was pretty far. I gave up plenty of those. That is something that I have thought of. And I experienced that in Palo Alto just a few weeks ago. We had the Mountain West champion Nevada in game 2. We were both 0-1 in the tournament, and we went head to head on a field that was flying pretty good. Their numbers were incredible. And our pitching staff came up with a 6-1 victory there in Palo Alto in a regional, in a big setting. And I felt really, really good knowing that this job was available, that, our team stacked up extremely well with the conference champion. And I'm very confident that we can put together a team that can be competitive within the conference on a year-to-year basis. And you have to be able to hit. It all starts on the mound. You have to be able to pitch and defend, but knowing that we can score runs in different ways. We can bunt for base hits. We can hit balls in the gap. We can hit balls over the scoreboard. We can steal bases. But as long as you can pitch and defend better than the other team, you have a legitimate chance to win. And that's going to be our top priority, is to get pitching and defense. And then sometimes it might take 17 runs when the wind's blowing in April. That's just how it's going to be. We're going to find the personnel that can do it on a consistent basis.
And the second follow-up question is, as far as the schedule goes, I know Coach B used to always like to have some of those heavy hitters. Do you want to continue that tradition, having some of the good teams on the non-conference portion of the schedule?
Yes, I would like to. One thing I'm really looking forward to is playing a lot of home games. I think that's the key, is when you can play as many, I just went through a 16-week season, and 12 of those were not in Fargo. That is a big toll on your players, and it's hard to play at the level. And to win 42 games with 43 of them not even being in anywhere close to your home state, that's difficult. I want to play home games, but we're going to have to shop out, and to get some quality opponents on our field, we're going to have to go on the road as well to do home and homes. I like to have a good balanced schedule, some good midweeks. I know there's some big time universities that are busable for us for some Tuesday games. But I'd like to get some big opponents like Ray did in the past, is get some big time opponents in Albuquerque. That'd be pretty special.
Coach, that's a really big park. Does that cater the way you look at perhaps recruiting? I know we're at altitude, but that's a big park.
It's a great big park.
Does it cater how you approach kids you bring in?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we want to pitch, defend, and score one more than our opponent. That's our top priority. And it doesn't matter how we get there. That's how we have to get there. It's attractive to have a ballpark that big, especially when we're going after pitching, because again, it all starts out on the mound. And to be honest with you, I'm really excited about the field turf. To have turf down, it looks brand new every day. You can play on it. It could rain for 3 straight hours and boom, you can play. You can snow, it'll melt quickly. there's so many different things that turf is going to open up so many more opportunities for us to train and get our kids ready to play.
You had a taste of Nevada. So what do you think about the conference as a whole?
I think it's a great conference. You have a national champion in it. You have some schools that are very competitive and in some really talent-rich areas. And I think that's one of the most attractive things about University of New Mexico baseball is we're in an area with a lot of talent, and there's not a ton of schools around us. So we feel like, hey, we're the flagship school of the state. We're going to have a great opportunity to go after these young men that want to come in and get a great education and play high level baseball and hopefully get into the professional ranks when their time's done.
Coach, I know you can't speak on, talk about a recruiter or anything like that, but I wonder if you can answer whether you anticipate any of your players from the team that you're leaving might come over. I mean, I know you've had a lot of success there. Some of those players might be attracted to this too, might want to follow you.
Yeah, absolutely not. I would not do that to North Dakota State. That would be a slap in the face to take the best players from here. I would be shocked if any of my players here reached out, not because they don't want to come play for me, not because they don't want to move south, because we have great kids at this university that want to stay for the right reasons. And that was all, I guess, addressed, in the recruiting process. You're coming to North Dakota State at the right time for the right reasons. And me going to another school, absolutely not. That is something that I would not entertain.
I know it happens. That's why I asked you. It happens.
Yep. It sure does. It sure does. And unfortunately, we have at North Dakota State, there's some great players, and they need to stay here and win for the Bison. And I'm going to go down in New Mexico and win for the Lobos.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Coach, what's your schedule like? Are you hitting the road recruiting, or are you coming to kind of set up shop here, or what's your schedule?
Well, I just returned last night. We had some almost plane, trains, and automobiles last night, but got home about 12:30. Was back in the office about 7 this morning, preparing. I don't know that exact. I've got something personal. I'm turning 50 here in about 10 days, and being part of the 50 club is interesting. So I got to manage that. We do have some dead periods too. So with the College World Series coming up, there's some pockets here. Saturday, Sunday, Monday is no off-campus recruiting. And then you have 4th of July weekend is no off-campus recruiting. There's a lot of things that I can take care of here, but I'm hopeful whether it's next week or the following week, we're going to work that out. But just know that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm working on this job and getting the right people in place. And it starts with our players first. That'll be making phone calls, and then staff. That's the next big thing is we're going to round out our staff here as quickly as possible.
Okay, Van is a Cubs fan. I'm an A's fan. What's your team?
I would have to go with the Diamondbacks simply because of my roots in Arizona. But honestly, I like to watch good baseball. And the game has changed. Let's be honest. The game has changed in the last 15, 20 years. It's different than what it used to be. But I still enjoy watching Major League Baseball. I can sit there and on the couch and watch a good Major League Baseball game because I love to see guys compete. And the fun thing is when your players are playing on TV. We have a right-handed pitcher that played for me here, just got called up, was my first major leaguer here at North Dakota State. You talk about how fun that is to flip on the TV and kids you recruit over the years and kids that you missed on and kids that you wanted but couldn't get. Those are all fun things because those guys are all in the major leagues now. It's really fun to watch.
Coach, I'm Ron Burke. I'm with KOAT, the ABC station here in Albuquerque. Congratulations and welcome. Feeding off of your comments about how much the game has changed, one of the major changes, I think, and I'm old enough to remember days of Ricky Henderson and Rock Raines and Vince Coleman and guys like that speed game on the bases. seems like it's so long gone and there are no indications it's coming back. I'm just wondering your thoughts on, I'm thinking, if you're a team that has like that speed demon or that speed quotient on your team, it might be able to give you a pretty good advantage these days because maybe other teams don't prepare for it because they don't see it so much. What are your thoughts on the absence of the base stealer in today's game?
Well, it comes down to analytics is why things have changed. The risk versus the reward, the risk of getting thrown out versus the reward of not getting thrown out, staying on first base and letting the guy hitting the ball in the gap or over the fence, because that's the way that the game has changed, evolved, is now they're relying more on home runs. Certainly, we've got to hit home runs, especially in our league. If you don't hit home runs, it's going to be a long year. But we also need to get to scoring position too. If you look at our stats, especially here in spring of 21, I tell you what, we stole a lot of bases, and a lot of it was reading balls in the dirt early, following the arm path of the pitcher, and when they see extreme down angle already starting towards second base, knowing that the ball is going to be in the dirt. Those are all things that Lobo baseball players, we're going to do a good job of trying to exploit as many things from the opposing team as we can and put pressure on the opposing team's defense. And I think we're going to have the right personnel. And in fact, I know already on my new team, we have the right personnel to do a lot of these things already.